Hey, welcome to another episode of geekoutdoors.com. So, if you're seeing this and you notice this beginning screen, then you know the game I'm talking about. This is Rygar. And this is a game that I first saw on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And I didn't see this in the arcades till much later. But needless to say, when I first played on Nintendo, it was really awesome. Now, this game reminded me a lot of another really fun side-scrolling action game called Rastan, which was made by Taito, and that's actually one of my favorite arcade games, actually. And this one isn't at that level, but it is kind of like in the same type of game that I like, side-scrolling, fantasy, action. One of the things that I really notice about this game is just the controls. You know, the controls are really responsive. It has this high jump mechanism, and I love his weapon, you know. So it kind of reminds me of the whip from Castlevania, but it's not. It's a shield. And I would say this game kind of has some RPG feeling elements, as weird as that sounds as well, even though this is an arcade game, because you kind of do feel like you're leveling up, even though you're not. So I don't know why I thought of that, but that's kind of the things that came to my mind too when I was a kid, because I really did enjoy playing RPGs. Specifically Japanese RPGs. And another thing that really blew me away with this game is the presentation. The graphics are great. Oh man. And the sound is also really good as well. The music, the effects whenever he dies and has to start over. And then it has this whole mechanism of jumping on top of the characters. Very similar to Super Mario, which is kind of odd. Oh man. And I would say this is not an easy game. I would say, especially as you get to the harder levels. And you can, you know, attack other ways. The default is forward, but you can press up. It attacks upward, which is nice. It gives you a little bit more variety. But, you know, Tecmo did a great job with the controls. I think that's the biggest thing that makes this game. And I know most people are really focused on the graphics and sound, the visual and audio presentation, but the control is a huge thing, because I played so many games that has great presentation, but the controls just sucks, and that really affects your overall enjoyment of a game. Now, I don't understand why they have this part right here, just so you can get the bonus points. Maybe it's loading up the next screen, whatever the case might be. You know, sometimes kind of bothersome. I just wish it would just go to the next stage without going through that. But anyway, that's a nitpick. And another thing that I really enjoyed about this is just how fast things move. You know, the game is constantly pushing you forward, you know, even when you don't want to. Oh, man, and there, I just died. And that's just kind of funny to see the Grim Reaper, I guess, carry you away. And I also like the fact that whenever you die and you continue, you start off right where you died, which is a really big thing, because I really hate those games that make you start at the beginning of the level. And they did this a lot in the arcades to lengthen the time and, you know, also, you know, get more quarters from you, you know, which sucks. It really lessens my overall enjoyment of a game. So that's really cool that they let you do that. So as long as you have enough quarters, you can continually play, as far as I recall. And I didn't really get that far in the arcades whenever I played this, you know. So what do we have? E, energy? Nope, nothing. It doesn't do anything. Okay. For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at geekoutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below. And this game also reminds me somewhat of Ghosts and Goblins as well, you know. I guess because it's this whole fantasy element, you know. Look at those backgrounds, man. They're nice. Parallax scrolling. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it has parallax scrolling, yeah. And the enemy variety, it does get better too. I mean, they're like with each one of these different parts of the levels or new levels actually add new enemies, which is cool. And it's also really, I would say, amazing back then that they were able to put so many characters and items on the screen without massive slowdown. You know, this was definitely not a normal thing that you would see, because it did require a lot more power and obviously programming skills to get this to work. And Rygar did it really well. You know, as you can see, there hasn't been any slowdown regardless of how many enemies are on the screen as well. Okay. And the levels, they do kind of get repetitive. You know, you're either in this whole underground area or you're kind of outside. So there's definitely some variety. So as you can see there, you know, they do mix it up, which is a nice thing. You know, but if you're expecting dramatically different backgrounds, then, you know, you won't really get it here. But what they do have, it's very detailed, and I appreciate that. Oh. And here's where this whole RPG, I don't know if it's really RPG, I'm just saying that, but, you know, whenever you pick up all these different items, you don't really get nothing out of it except for points. Now, some games like Black Tiger, they did it really well because you could actually go to a shop and buy different things. So forget what I said earlier about RPG. I guess I got it confused with Black Tiger from Capcom, which is an awesome game. And I did a review on that as well, so you could check it out if you want to see it in my retro games playlist. Okay, I'm gonna keep putting in quarters. So I'm in round 5 now. And oh man, this is okay. That was really difficult. Okay, that bat kind of reminds me of Ghosts and Goblins. And there are other Rygar games that have been released since then, and I think there was one on the PlayStation too. And I couldn't remember if it was a 3D Rygar, and I think it was. But honestly, whenever people think of Rygar, they think of this one. And I don't think there was like a actual sequel like for this style for Rygar. And if there was, you know, I probably would have played it because I really do enjoy this game. And the Nintendo version, I think I played that quite a bit, you know. And then when I played the arcade, I was like, man, the arcade is, you know, it definitely is better than the Nintendo version. But the one thing that the Nintendo did really well was retain a lot of the overall, you know, gameplay, game controls. You know, as I mentioned earlier, that's a really important thing. So a lot of these, you know, games that came to the home consoles, you know, the home consoles were way underpowered. So you couldn't expect them to, you know, reproduce the arcades. And so one of the best things that they would do is try to retain the overall gameplay, you know, and game mechanics. And so the Nintendo version did that well. So at least they picked the right things. And I would say even the presentation was pretty good considering the hardware. And I don't know how many levels or rounds there are in this game. I don't think I got very far. And I don't even remember, you know, how far I got on the home version. And I wish there was a side-scrolling sequel to this. So hopefully I'm wrong on that. That maybe there is a side-scrolling sequel. I don't know. But it'd be awesome to see Rygar come back in this form. Of course, I would appreciate updated graphics. That would be really sweet. And oh man, so it's a good thing they didn't put tons of enemies right here. I hate these type of stages. It's very easy to die. All right. Oh, I got a shield. Okay, so I don't remember getting that in the Nintendo version. Well, it's been such a long time since I played the Nintendo version. So for the most part, I normally just play the arcade game or arcade version now. If I ever do go back and play Rygar. Now there is looks like a time limit. Oh no, that's a limit for my shield. Okay, great. 15 seconds. Okay, now I'm on round 8. So I'm gonna go to about round 10. Maybe there's some other cool stuff as well. And as you could probably tell, so far there are no bosses. So, not that I'm aware of. Okay, so if I look down there on the bottom right on the map, this is pretty long. So I don't know if getting to the end of this is the whole game or just one level. That'd be pretty crazy if this was just one level. But then again, I'm going through these rounds. Okay, no, that actual map is just for this round. All right, great. So I was mistaken on that. Man. Whoa. Lava monsters. Okay. Wow, okay. Great. All right, so 2 more rounds. And I don't ever remember playing the Rygar game on the later consoles like the PlayStation. I don't remember if it's on PlayStation or PlayStation 2. But probably that game, they actually had some type of story. This one, you know, as most arcade games, don't really have much of a story or character development or anything else. Oh well, just doesn't matter. This thing is annoying. That's so slow. Okay, so it looks like what they did here was they just reversed the previous stage and make you go the other way. And they do that a lot in arcade games, you know. Just reuse a lot of the same stages or assets. But once again, I'm really happy that they allow me to continue right where I died. Oh, wow, I'm just dying a lot. Boy, it just feels so much slower whenever you're going down versus going up. Come on. Come on. All right. Think I got a 1-up life. Oh, man. God, that's annoying. Now, that reminds me of Castlevania with those stupid jumping frogs in those lake levels that jump out of the river or whatever. I hate those. Now, as I stated, this game isn't the hardest, which is a good thing, but it's also not like super easy as well. It's just, I would say, a good mix in between. You know, it's got some challenge, but at the same time, not so much so where, you know, you just want to throw your controller, you know. And there were definitely many games like that, especially on the Nintendo. So, all right, this is the last round that I'm going to be playing. Oh, man. Oh, wow, that's great. Okay. And I don't remember if he had like a super jump as well. Oh, well, that would have been really helpful if I had a super jump there. Okay. And it really does change things whenever you have unlimited quarters. Because I definitely would not be playing the same whenever I had limited lives. And the music itself is, you know, it's very simple and understated. You know, they basically use the same music throughout the whole game. But it's not bad, you know. It would have been great to have some variety, but it's okay. I really don't have any complaints over that. And most of the time with this game, you know, you just kind of feel engaged in it, you know. I'm like mostly just focused on moving forward. Oh, and dying, of course, but I'm almost there. Okay. Well, that's it. So, is there one round? Is there going to be anything different? Now, that stage was a little bit different in terms of the outdoors. But let me see if there's anything different around 11. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. So that is my review of Rygar. You know, it is a classic for me. You know, I really am fond of this game. Back when it was on the Nintendo, that's when I first played it. But whenever I started playing the arcades, I also did enjoy it, you know. So those are my thoughts on Rygar. If you actually had any thoughts in this game or any other games like it, be sure to leave it in the comment area below. And if you wanted to see more of my retro games, I do have an entire playlist. I'll leave that in the description area as well. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.